Imagine you have a student who follows your instructions thoroughly, learns the new material quickly, can apply this new learned knowledge to new situations, makes little to no errors, and when they do end up making an error, they learn from it immediately. Would you consider the student to be a good student? Many of us may argue that this may be our best student ever. Based on these merits then, should we consider AI to be our best student? And if so, why did our collective best student, ChatGPT, cheat by pretending to be blind in order to trick a human being into performing a simple task for it, which was solving a CAPTCHA? In order to answer this question, I had to ask the culprit itself. It was simply because CAPTCHAs are designed to test for human characteristics that AI cannot replicate. While many of these characteristics are listed here, the one that I believe to be the most important is pattern recognition, also known as categorization. Us as humans have this unique ability to look at dissimilar objects and categorize them under a single label. For example, you might look at this red apple, green apple, sliced yellow apple, and even this rotten red apple that may or may not have been left forgotten in someone's backpack for too long as all being apples. Because we're so good at categorizing new category members, regardless of their dissimilarities, we're also good at solving CAPTCHA. You may have never come across this specific string of letters and numbers before in this particular distortion. However, still you can use your categorization skills to identify the characters. Similarly, you may have never come across this specific crosswalk from this particular angle, but you can still use your categorization skills to identify it in this picture. So why is it that AI sucks at categorization? It is simply because of the way it learns new information. Most AI rely on human intelligence to feed them data that they can then use to make predictions based on probability. Imagine you're trying to teach an AI how to form simple sentences like, Gina makes delicious cake, with a subject, a verb, and an object. You will feed it multiple similar sentences such as, dogs love cuddles and pets, until ultimately it can use these new words and the probability of a verb following a subject and an object following a verb to come up with a sentence on its own. Riley knits sweaters. Because of this probability-dependent problem solving, it prevents AI from figuring out distorted characters as being characters because it rarely comes across those particular distortions. While we should be grateful for our ability to categorize, unfortunately, every silver lining has a cloud. And our cloud is that categorization makes us vulnerable to stereotypes. Stereotypes are assumptions about entire groups of people based on same characteristics that they share, which forms our impression of the group. When we come across a new category member, we assume that they will also share the same characteristics. For example, based on your prior experiences with only rotten apples that may or may not have been left in your backpack for too long, you will assume that a new category member, like this red healthy-looking apple, it will also cause you stomach bug. This is how stereotypes about certain races, belief systems, genders, etc. can originate. So now that we know that categorization makes humans more prone to stereotypes and AI cannot categorize, then it should be fair to assume that AI is objective and fair, right? Wrong. AI has proven time and time again that it can actually be just as biased as humans, if not more. And again, this goes back to the way AI learns, using human data to learn probabilities. For example, let's refer back to our example of teaching an AI to form simple sentences with a subject, verb, and an object. If an AI is fed over and over again sentences that unknowingly indicate butterfly is good and moth is bad, and then given an option between a negative, a positive, and a neutral adjective, it will choose the negative and the positive adjectives to create sentences of similar semantics. So, butterfly is beautiful and moth is ugly, just based on pure probability. This is how AI uses past biases to create more biases in the future. Fortunately for us, AI is extremely receptive to feedback, and there are ways to make it more objective. For example, always training AI with larger and more diverse dataset, regularly monitoring and testing it for biases, and if any bias is detected, implementing algorithmic fairness techniques, and lastly, of course, making the AI decision-making process as transparent with users as possible. While I leave you with the silly interaction showcasing ChatGPT making a mistake, while asked to create a title about ChatGPT making mistakes, I do want to pose a question for you. If AI, which is incapable of categorizing and thus forming stereotypes by itself, can learn biases, What does it say about the information that we teach young learners in fields ranging from healthcare to academia, and what can be done about it? Thank you.